Here we go again. Welcome to the Knotenkopp podcast. My name is Johanna. I live in the north of Germany and I talk about my knitting, or all considering knitting on this YouTube channel. Welcome if you're new here, and everyone who came back. Thank you for your patience. I unintentionally took again a summer break. It's been over 6 months since I podcasted, which wasn't the plan. But yeah, life got busy. I mean, it happened last year because of different reasons, and I'm definitely not the first YouTube podcaster in the knitting online community who experienced this. But basically I think I really underestimated my situation. So let's go back a little bit. In May, I think, I uploaded my last podcast episode, and I was going back to work then after being on sick leave for several months, and I also decided to quit my job and to move to a new city. At that time I was flat hunting. I had a lot of medical appointments because of my health situation, and I was going back working full-time. And in the beginning of the summer I found a flat. I think I showed that one actually in my last podcast episode. It's been so long I don't even remember what I said back in there, but I remember putting in pictures. So yeah, basically I found a flat, or more so a house, and decided to move at the end of August. It was like a lot of back and forth when I'm going to move, etc. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, I've been moving a lot of times in the past. I would say I'm pretty experienced in moving, but it definitely is different when you just move with a bedroom, because I lived mostly in shared flats the last 10 years, and the last 2 years I've been living alone in a 60 square meter flat, and it's just a lot more you have to take into consideration. I also had a moving company, but basically I spent all summer packing. I started 3 months ahead of the move and spent every weekend basically packing or going back and forth to my new city where I'm living now because I moved, and also Hamburg because they are most of my doctor's appointments and friends, etc. So I think, like, basically you could say summer passed and I didn't have much of it. So that was in some ways a little bit sad, but I knew that like moving was really important to me. I'm very glad for the Olympics, for the Tour de France, and all the pop girlies bringing out amazing albums this summer, because that kept me company during packing and painting walls and painting window seals and cleaning. And yeah, it just made it all a little bit more enjoyable. And yes, then I moved at the end of August, and I mean, everyone who moved before knows there's a lot like organizing your Wi-Fi, your energy billing, I don't know. It's just a lot you have to consider, especially when you move alone, because you are the only person who is thinking of it. And so yeah, and I just didn't have the time. Also, I started quite early on packing my yarn away. I actually can recommend that a lot how I did it. I got like big plastic clear boxes with rolls under it that you can like put onto each other, and I sorted my yarn through it, like sweater quantities, scrap yarn, baby knit yarn, current projects, etc. I labeled it, And so it was stored away basically during the 3-month prepping period, but it was still, I could still reach it because I continued. I mean, I even knit it on the day I moved, basically. And yeah, I could see where everything was. So when I was looking for yarn, I kind of had an idea and had not to open like cardboard boxes and rip out all the yarn. So that was definitely a good thing. But yeah, most of the time I was also just too exhausted to knit because I also underestimated how physical straining moving is. I mean, that sounds stupid, obviously it's physical straining, but since I am not 100% healthy, it's just, it takes a lot more of my energy, I guess. And a lot of times my arms were like shaking, or I didn't have any strength in them anymore to knit in the evenings on the weekend. And obviously I was working full-time the whole summer, so beforehand I've always been a student when moving, or even like had like summer breaks or something, so that gives you a lot of free time to pack and prep for a move in comparison when you work a full-time job. So, but everything worked out. The move went very smoothly and I love where I live now. I mean, it's obviously have been only 2 months, so who knows what I will say in the future, but so far I really like it. The problem really was like, despite having no time to really film and no energy, I also felt like I had really nothing to say. If you've seen my last 2 videos, you've seen that I kind of hyper focused on baby knits since my sister announced that she's pregnant, and since I was going back and forth between cities a lot, I took mainly the baby knits with me because it was just more convenient because they fit into my handbag, and I didn't take like a half-finished sweater project with me. So all the sweater projects I had in May kind of got like ignored, or I mean, I've knit on them, but it didn't feel like I made a lot of progress, obviously, because I had a lot of sweater projects and I still have. So if you're always like dividing your time between like 6 sweaters and I don't know 5 baby knits, the progress is a different one in comparison if you just knit 1 sweater. And most of them also have been like how do you say it, like stockinette projects, so I didn't feel like I needed to show like, oh, I knit 5 centimeters more of stockinette. And at the end of August, I mean, we had like, I was really excited because we got like lovely weather at the end of August and also through September. It was amazing because the city where I moved, it has like lovely outdoor spaces. I live 50 meters next to the river, or I mean it's a channel from the river, but like there are a lot of like swimming options. I also have an outdoor space now, which I am so excited for next summer. And I think like in August, or that was my perception at least, in August, the knitting social media community went like autumn and fall crazy, and I was just not there. Like, I didn't feel it at all, and I was like, it felt very forced. It felt kind of unnatural because we had like 25 degrees and I was going swimming in my bikini, and I was like, I'm not feeling the autumn vibes. Like, why are we talking about autumn? I also had a summer holiday to Spain still like ahead of me in October, so I was very much looking forward to that. And so I was just not in the autumn vibes at all, and I felt like, okay, it just doesn't really fit with maybe the content everyone wants to see. Not that I plan my content around, like, I don't know, that specifically, but I just didn't feel like I had anything to add at the moment. And yeah, and I was still mainly knitting on baby knits, to be honest. But yeah, since September I finished my job, so that was also a huge thing, like because I had to go back and forth for working still 2 weeks, and I also went on holiday, and I had my surgery. I don't know if you remember, but I have a chronic thyroid disease, and I have to have removed my thyroid, and the surgery was successful in that way that there were like no major complications, but sadly there needs to be a second surgery because yeah, they couldn't take out all of it in one go, so half of it is still in there, and they need to do again the surgery. So I mean, that also, like, I didn't have a voice for a week really. So yeah, I mean I think you get the bigger picture. I just wanted, like, I don't feel like that I have to explain myself, but just giving you a little bit of circumstances, like where I've been over the last 6 months, where I'm at the moment. So yes, I'm without a job. I'm living in a new city, which I love. I love my flat, I love my neighbors, I love the area where I live. It's very easy for me to see my friends and family in Hamburg, so that's lovely. I already had a lot of visitors, which is also great. And yeah, I'm just in a much better place in comparison to the last year when I look back. I also had like kind of a job interview. It was like a little bit like get to know me, more informal, because it would be so a friend of mine is going on parental leave, and they asked me if I would take over for a year. And at the moment I'm considering it. It wouldn't be my dream job, not that I'm dreaming of my job, but it would be like similar to what I did before, which I wasn't happy in. But it's also convenient, to be honest, because I don't really have to go through a big applying process. I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. It's like 200 meters of workway, is it? Like, no, but like the walk to my workplace then, which is obviously very nice. And it would be like limited, so I could just try it out for a year, and then I could figure out what I want to do afterwards, because I'm considering going a different direction what I'm working in now. If you've seen the Career Bears Rebecca's newest podcast, I found her insights on talking about her job situation very helpful, because I think that really applies to me as well. Like, I think I'm pretty good at my current job and at my last job as well, but it's not really what brings me joy. And that's for me, like, I definitely struggle with like the comfort of being praised for what you're doing and having the comfort of knowing what you do in your work environment, but also knowing that it gives you nothing back, basically. It leaves me kind of empty. And I'm in a very privileged position right now that I can find out what I want to do instead. So yeah, we will see. But that also means I am without a job and a lot of spare time for knitting, at least for 2 to 3 months, which is obviously amazing. And I talked a lot about my life situation now, so if you're here for the knitting, skip ahead. But I don't know, I enjoy getting to know the person behind the knitting, so I thought I'd get a little bit into it. Also, it might be relatable. What else? Yeah, so a lot of things I will show you have seen before, and a lot of things I haven't made that much of a progress. I will also talk about like knitting plans in a separate video. I just found out it's way easier for me to split videos. Wow. Sometimes I question my intelligence that it took me so long to figure that out. But yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit separately about like what I plan or what I'm currently knitting for autumn and winter. I consider it kind of like one big season. I think I mean, in retrospect, watching like some people talk about fall, autumn knitting, I kind of get where some people are coming from being so excited about autumn and fall, because it's actually like the season of autumn or fall is the moment they can start wearing their knits or knitting like warmer, thicker garments again. And I think for me, it's just not that restricted to the colder seasons. I am constantly knitting like warm sweaters in the summer. I mean, we had kind of a shitty summer anyways, weather-wise, so it just, I wasn't limited knitting mohair only during like autumn to spring or something. And I'm also not limited wearing my sweaters. Like there are maybe a few things like very heavy scarves or something that I put away during summer, but I wear my hats, I wear my mini scarves, I wear my sweaters during summer, so it doesn't really make that big of a difference. To me, knitting wise, I'm always knitting sweaters no matter the season, and yeah, it just sometimes I knit like warmer sweaters and lighter sweaters basically, but so I think like it's just not that big of a thing knitting wise. If the season changed for me, it's more so that lighting is an issue. I think the light situation is fine, but I was like debating for 2 weeks now if I should film, and was waiting for a sunny day, and then realized there is no sunny day coming in the next month. Like we have had a very dry autumn since, like, which is unusual because it's raining a lot where I live, but it's been very grey. Like I think I missed mostly of the like golden sunny autumn days when I was in the hospital. So it's been kind of like grey, sad autumn, but it's okay. Like I'm already really looking forward to Christmas season, because where I moved, Christmas season is a huge thing, like Advent time. I already got my like first things for Christmas decoration. I never do that. Like I'm not a huge Christmas person. I'm also not huge on Christmas decorations. But I thought like this year might be the first one. Yeah, and obviously like big news, my nephew has been born, and he's been wearing already his baby knits that I made him. He looks very adorable. Like my sister and him, they are both fine. Everything went smoothly. He's like a healthy, very big boy, like not chunky, but like very tall. So he already fits, like, I think he's like 2 weeks old now, and he already fits into the 1 to 3 month old baby knits. So it was a good decision. I knit nothing for a newborn, and he was born on Halloween, so which is a bank holiday here in Germany, not because of Halloween, but because of religious reasons. And yeah, so very happy about that, and obviously I'm a very proud auntie and love him to the moon, and it's so cute to see him in all the things I've knitted him. Yeah, check out my last video if you're interested in baby knits. I obviously talk a lot about them there. So now it's been 20 minutes and I think we should get into FOs. So I will take a sip of my tea. and then we can continue. The thing I'm wearing is my first finished object. I finally finished my green poppy sweater. So the poppy tee is a pattern by PetiteKnit, and I modified, is it the right word? Yes, I basically made it into a long sleeve sweater pattern. And this is already the second sweater. I made a navy one out of a merino cashmere one, which is more fitted and a little bit more elegant or posh, and I wanted this one to be a little bit different, so I will obviously insert pictures and just get up for a second. So I mean, the color definitely blurs out, so you have to rely a little bit on the pictures I will put in. But that's the length. I'm not wearing a bra, so it's a little bit like, these are my high-waisted pants, and it's a little bit longer than I usually knit my sweaters, but I felt like I already have so many like kind of cropped sweaters, and I always tuck it in like this. I really wanted a more relaxed fit, and so it's a lot wider, like in comparison to the navy one. You can see it kind of at my shoulders, that it just doesn't sit perfectly as the poppy tee is supposed to. Like, I think that my shoulder starts, or my upper arm starts here, so I think this line should be was supposed to be here, but I wanted a little bit of a drop from this contiguous sleeve. And I also added 2x2 rib. Yeah, I will sit down again. At the bottom and at the neck as well, I did a double folded crew neckline. And yes, I'm very pleased with it. It's very special yarn. I got it from the beginning of the year from the Wollfabrik. And so I've talked about this before, but their concept is that you can like tell them how many strands of yarn you want to hold together to get a certain thickness or gauge. And with this one, because it's a very thin wool nylon mix, so I think it's 90% wool and 10% nylon or something, I've held like 6 strands together, and I can't recommend that. I think with the navy sweater, because it was also wool from the Wollfabrik, so Wollfabrik it's a like storage yarn store, kind of like storage place in Hamburg. You can go back in my episodes, I think in spring I talked extensively about it, but there I held like, I think 2 or 3 plies together, which was totally fine, but holding like 6 strands to get like a light decay weight, it was not a pleasure, I would say. Especially knitting like the 2x2 ribbing, it was just a pain in the ass basically, because you really had to be paying attention basically, so you didn't like accidentally like forget one strand, or just like it's also very easy to pull them out of the knitted fabric. So if I catch anywhere, if the fabric catches on anything, it sometimes happens that there's like one strand getting pulled out, which is obviously not amazing. And yeah, so I don't know, I think I definitely wouldn't knit with more than 3 strands together from the Wollfabrik, so I would tend more to a thicker yarn. I don't know if this might have been like lace weight or something, or even thinner than that. But the green color is amazing because it was already heathered in itself. I think from far away it's just one solid green, but if you look closer, it has like warmer and cooler toned greens, which just make that like perfect green color in my opinion, like true pencil case green. And yeah, I really like it. It's a pop of color I didn't have in my wardrobe before. I also tried different cast bind off methods for the 2x2 rib. I don't really like knitting 2x2 rib. I really enjoy like 1x1 or 3x1, for example socks, but I just don't enjoy 2x2. I knit the sweater on 4mm needles and the ribbing on 2mm. That also added to being like very uncomfortable knitting with the 6 strands together. And yeah, so I don't know if it's like that visible, but I first tried doing a tubular bind off by rearranging the stitches on this sleeve. I hope you can see that. And I really didn't like it. I think it just breaks up the 2x2 pattern too much. It just looks a little bit messy. It's very stretchy in that way. But I did on this sleeve the rook bind off again, which I did in the past. And I think it just looks a lot cleaner. Just one contiguous like clean line at the end. It's stretchy enough. It's not that stretchy. I think you can see kind of that this one is a lot wider in comparison to this one. But I think the result is a lot better. Yeah, so, and I also did the rook bind off at the bottom hem as well. And it just took a lot of time because of, yeah, it was very fiddly. But I'm happy it's finished. I like it a lot, but I also realized I need now like neutral accessories because I have a lot of like colorful accessories to match with my more like grayish sweaters. Yeah, but like wearing my red hat with this one gives me more like of what is it, like traffic light vibes. So I definitely am in need of like cream or beige or grayish colored hats and scarf, and I will talk more about it in my fall knitting plans. The other thing, a big thing I finished this autumn was a gift knit for a friend. I think I need to scoop over a little bit so I can put pictures here. So yeah, that was for now the last 30th gift knit sweater. There's still one birthday coming, but it's like a little bit in the future. And yeah, so, and she was celebrating her birthday in the south of Germany. Her parents have a beautiful lake house, and I obviously wanted to make her a sweater or cardigan again. I talked about it in the past. I asked her what she would like to have or in what direction she wanted me to knit something, and she had a very clear vision of a sweater from an online store that she saw, and she asked if I could like remake that or dupe that. And that was like just a chunky cropped sweater with like colorful cuffs and ribbing details basically. I was like, yep, that's easy, no problem. Oh, I think so. I don't know if that makes a difference. I'm sorry if you're shaking. And I decided to knit the weekend sweater by PetiteKnit. I think it matched with the gauge, matched kind of with the yarn I was going for, and also like the vibe was there, because I think she had also like kind of a higher like mock neck situation, but I definitely modified the length and I don't know if she had the mock neck or she actually had a turtleneck. I don't know. I will insert the pictures. My friend amazingly modeled the sweater for me. I mean, the sweater fits her amazingly, so kudos to me. But also, like, the pictures are great, like, because she put effort in it. We had a little photo shooting on the, what is it, like, walkway to the lake, and the colors just pop because you can see the Alps and sunset in the background and the lake reflecting all the beautiful colors. Just very beautiful surroundings. And yeah, so I mean, I think like the sweater pattern is pretty basic, to be honest, and the star of the show are definitely the yarn and the colors. So I went for the body and the main color, so the cream with Cascade 220 and grande, I think. At least that's what how I would say it. So it's like an Aran or chunky yarn. I don't know. I never knit in this category of yarn. I've knitted with 6mm needles. It's recommended, I think, to 6 to 8. And I went with the 6, and I think my gauge was still a little bit bigger than the weekend sweater recommended, but it was fine. I think all around, I think I've knitted the smallest size, but obviously it was amazing. Like knitting an Aran weight chunky sweater on 6mm needles in size XXS was like, wow, that's a game changer in comparison me knitting like Sport Light DK in 3XL or something. And also the sweater was cropped, so it was just a very fast knit. I think it didn't take me even two weeks or something. And the contrast ribbing on the neck, the sleeves and the body was all double Sunday from Sandnes Garn, held double. So that was like also to match the chunkiness of the Cascade yarn. And yeah, because also like double Sunday is also comes in 50-gram boards. It's very accessible to me, and they have amazing like color selection, which was very close to what the picture she showed me online was. And yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. She loves it. She wears it a lot. She came to me a few weeks ago for a visit, and I de-peeled her sweater because I have to say, like, it's like not that much the ribbing, but definitely the stockinette Cascade part, it peels a lot. I don't know. I don't often knit with this big of a gauge, so I don't have really a comparison. I know she wears it a lot, so obviously that contributes to peeling. And I didn't hold it with a mohair or anything, but I think it's, if I remember right, it's Peruvian Highland wool or something. So I thought like it would hold up on itself, to be honest. I don't know. It's not the cheapest yarn, at least in that yarn weight. I don't know if like the thinner Cascade yarns are more budget friendly, but I thought like this is quite an expensive sweater. I haven't like added it at the moment, so I've put it probably on the screen how much the finished project cost. I was very glad that I only needed 3 skeins of the main color for the body, and I was able to return the 4th because she wanted a very cropped version of that sweater. Otherwise it would have been quite an expensive sweater, to be honest. And I hope it's holding up kind of all right. I also, talking about blocking, I didn't knit a gauge swatch, and I also didn't obviously pre-block the colors to see if they are bleeding. I blocked the sweater in like cold to lukewarm water with what is it? Is it cider? No, it's not cider. Vinegar in it, and also put like these color catching thingies for the washing machine into it. And it didn't bleed at all. There was like no, like usually obviously because I knit with a lot of like less processed rustic wools, the water is kind of disgusting after blocking it for the first time because there's like dirt coming basically out of the yarn. But since I think Cascade and also Double Sunday are very like high processed yarns, and they came out totally clean. There was no color bleeding into the white. I don't know if the vinegar or the temperature of the water made a difference, but it turned out alright, and I was very stressed about it to be honest, because since it was such an expensive yarn, and if it would have bled, there would be basically no way to save this. And I think like in similar color palettes, like also with like very primary colors and cream colored stripes, I made in spring a pillowcase. It was just a scrappy pillowcase, and I spilled coffee over it in the summer, and I recently put it in the washing machine on Wool Wash program, and the colors bled like crazy into the cream. So I mean, I think they are definitely, and they were also commercial yarns, so they are definitely, I think, yarns that are prone to it and not. And I wouldn't testify that like none of the Double Sunday colors bleed, but in my experience, it went well. Okay, I think that's all to the gift knit sweater. I also very spontaneously cast something on for my holiday to Spain, or I mean I went to Mallorca, so I mean it's Spain, but it's Mallorca. Is it the right way? Yeah, I think so. I've knitted the Sevilla blouse, and it's been lying here for a few days. Wow, the color really changes depending where you hold it. I don't think I have the label flying around here anymore. I will put in a video or pictures of me wearing it. So this was a very spontaneous cast on. I liked the Sevilla blouse when it came out. I really liked the relaxed fit. A lot of people argue that it's very close to blouse number 1, my favorite things knitwear. Obviously it is, but my favorite things knitwear didn't invent that design as well. And I prefer the more relaxed look of the Sevilla blouse with the dropped shoulder and the straight sleeves, while I think blouse number 1 is a lot more feminine because it's more form-fitting, and also the bell sleeves. It's very beautiful design, but I was looking more for like a summery layer that you can just throw over for my holiday. I didn't finish this before my holiday. I took it with me to my holiday, and it was great beach knitting, to be honest, because this was really mainly based, or this cast on was based on the yarn, because the city I moved to has actually a self-made. I ordered in the past from them. I haven't tried out many yarns for them, and I've never been to a self-made before. So yeah, I was very surprised. My friend and I went basically to IKEA, which is next door, and she wanted to check out the fabrics there. And I obviously checked out the yarn, and I can try to get on. So that's basically what I have left over of this yarn. I forgot the composition, but it's a very soft summery yarn, and that's basically what sold me on knitting with this. With summer yarns, I'm much more prone to commercial yarns. With like my woolly knits, I like more the rustic, less processed yarn. but I'm not really into like the hemp linen thingy, to be honest. It's just, it feels very stiff even after blocking. And I mean, I think it softens up with wear, but it's just not the vibe I'm going for during summer. So I like cotton or like summer blends with viscose, or I mean tencel is a form of viscose as well. And I think this has like viscose, maybe even made from bamboo, and silk in it, and I don't know what the third component was. They had a great selection, so it's light blue but slightly heathered, and it's super soft, so it would also be great, I think, for babies. And it said, I think it's 30 degrees machine washable, which is also an important factor for me with summer knits. So I knit the Sevilla blouse as shown, and when I finished it, it looked like shit on my body. I think I can put in a video. I think I filmed it when I tried it on. It was way too tight on my upper arm. It was also very snug on my body. And it just looked stupid, in my opinion. Especially, I think, with a dropped shoulder, you just need that a certain drop, basically, and that only happens with a certain amount of positive ease. And if there's like enough room for your upper arm, and that wasn't just the case. And I really hoped I could do like something with blocking. Yeah, I mean, it grew with blocking. I was surprised how much it grew, because like especially the sleeves grew a lot, to a point where if I want to keep this, I need to rip it back and make the sleeves shorter. Even though I blocked it widthwise a lot to make the drop lower on my arm, it also grew in length. So I think the length is okay for tucking in, but I would have preferred it to have a little bit of a shorter length. I don't mind opening up the bind off because I actually took the detail of the cloud sweater and put it into this design, so a little bit of 1x1 rib, and then a few rounds of stockinette, and just a normal bind off, so it rolls into itself. So it's not that much of work to open it up again and to make the hem and the sleeves shorter. I also haven't added the neckline yet, because it has a ripped, like a very tiny ripped neckline, and this is just the cast on edge right now, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it or if I'm gonna frog it. This is a summer knit, so I won't wear this for the several next months, to be honest. But I love the yarn. It's super soft even after blocking, maybe even softer. So I don't know if this holds up, because obviously with a lot of like soft yarns, they don't really hold up that well. So time will tell. But I mean, blocking helped. The drop is lower. It's a little bit more relaxed on the sleeve or on my upper arm, but it's still tighter than I would prefer it. And yeah, I'm not sure. I've seen a woman with a similar body type to mine wear a dress which was basically blouse number 1, just in a dress form, and it looked amazing on her, and I was like, maybe I should have knitted blouse number 1 instead, and it would be, I don't know, more suitable for my body type. Or I just will make this into something totally different. I definitely want to wear this yarn. I'm just not sure if it's going to be this fit, because at the moment I'm not excited about it. I wouldn't grab or gravitate to it if I have options in my wardrobe. And that always tells me like, maybe it's not the right project for me, but it's an easy knit. I don't mind frogging this if it just really comes to it, but I think I will take the time, think about it until next spring, summer, and then make a decision. My body is changing a lot through the last 2 years as well, so who knows how it fits next year. But yes, this was my one and only spontaneous summer knit, and I've lost my hair. So putting this away, need a sip of water maybe this time. Yes, and now we're getting to like kind of half-finished objects. So I mean basically whips, but they kind of feel like nearly finished, and I would really like to get them finished because I'm a little bit over them sitting around. It was the same situation with the green sweater. I think half a year is too long for my projects to be on needles. Like, the excitement gets lost. The excitement to have them in my wardrobe is still there, but it's just too long of a period for me to be still excited about knitting it. And that I learned a lot about it through the process, but maybe I should cast on less sweaters next summer because I might not get through them during the summer. So big learning there. But I finished basically most of the knitting of my Maggie cardigan. And if you haven't seen my podcast before, you're like, wait, cardigan? But it's like kind of closed in the front. What is this? Midway through the project, I decided I'm sticking this cardigan. So the Maggie cardigan is a pattern by PetiteKnit as well, which I started last spring in this amazing red color. It's a mohair, but with nylon in it, I think, or not nylon. Is it polyamide or polyester? I forgot. Someone left me a comment and corrected me, so I'm not 100% sure which one it is. It's a mix of mohair, some artificial fiber, and a wool, so there's no silk in it, and Sunday by Sandnes Garn in a deep red color, which I love. I have several things knit in this. So yeah, because I was basically bored and annoyed to death with knitting stockinette flat, so I decided midway through that I'm going to knit this cardigan around and stick it, and I'm now finally at the point where I can stick it. Saying that, I've never sticked anything before, but I have several sticking projects on my needles currently. So yeah, but beforehand I will block this baby and see if the length and width and everything fits basically, and also get an idea because I've knitted the stockinette part on 3.5mm needle, but the ribbing on 2.5. So, and I kind of want to see how much it relaxes to get a feeling for how my pickup rate for the bottom band is going to be, because I still haven't really decided on the bottom band. The cardigan this was inspired by is a commercial cardigan, which has like a vertical ribbed button band, which is, when you would hand knit something like that, more something where you, or a construction where you would knit the bottom band at the same time as the cardigan and not pick up stitches afterwards. I obviously didn't do that because it's in the round and sticked and etc. And I think the Maggie cardigan in itself has a horizontal ribbed button band and yeah, detail and neckline, etc. So I'm not really sure what I want to do, but before obviously cutting into this yarn, I want to make sure that the length and the fit is right, because I really don't want to go back and try to fix this when it's all like finished, it's like, I don't know, it wouldn't probably even work. No, I don't know. I really don't want to risk anything with this cardigan. It just took me too long to finish it, even though it's not really finished. So blocking this, seeing how the fit is, because right now, I mean, I've tried it on already, it's quite cropped, but I think this fabric, because it's very drapey, will relax quite a lot. So we will see. But yeah, I think my colorful garment era is over with these two then. Not that I won't knit any colorful garments in the future, but I think I'm a little bit over now the solid colored stockinette projects. I need a little bit of difference in my life, which you will see when I talk about like my fall knitting plans or what I'm currently knitting for fall. So that's the Maggie cardigan. Matching the red theme. I also saw someone wear red socks, and I was like, I need matching red socks to my Maggie cardigan. So I cast on red socks. It just 1 by 1 rib and 3 by 1 leg and foot and stockinette at the bottom. And I already started on the second one. I'm knitting this with Retrosaria Pommard Mondim. I've knitted socks with that yarn in the spring and I really like it, and I have to say I'm one of the people where the yarn holds up very well. Maybe it is because I've knitted it on 2mm needles, so a very dense gauge. That might have helped, and obviously I don't know how long they will hold, but I've been wearing them now for half a year, also in shoes, outside, and they've been fine so far. So I really like this yarn. It's, if you don't know, it's a non-superwash, no nylon wool sock yarn. I really like the brand of, is it Rosa Pommard or Retrosaria Pommard? I always forget like which is more the pattern label maybe, or she as a person, and which one is the yarn label. But I mean, it really doesn't matter. So the first one is finished, and I tried for the first time after, I don't know, 10 years, a new heel construction. So this is an easy version of the boomerang, if we call it in German, but I guess it's a German short row heel, but without German short rows basically. I don't know, probably there is an English term for it, but I found it, I actually wanted to do the shadow wrap heel. Was really annoyed by the tutorials because they were so slow and I had no patience with them. And then I found a German lady who had like easy boomerang a heel, and I was like, that sounds interesting. And I looked at it and it was like, it's basically you slip stitches instead of doing German short rows. I'm pretty sure there's a term for that in English, for that kind of heel. And I did it, and I did it again on a different pair of socks, and I'm pretty happy with it. This might be my new heel, because it doesn't have like, I mean, this is not blocked yet, but I definitely struggle with holes between the heel and the rest of the foot when you connect it back together. But I prefer like the German short row heel fit in comparison to the heel flap and gusset, I think it's called. I really never did a different heel. I had like socks made by a friend with a different heel, and so I know that I prefer like the rounded heel in comparison to the square one. And yeah, pretty happy with it. So next up is my Olga sweater. I have to get Wow, I have a lot of projects flying around here. So my Olga sweater, still not finished. And I think I will finish it, and it will also go into hibernation, not hibernation, but into a box basically, because I won't wear that until next spring. I don't know at what point I left you last time, but I finished the body of my Olga sweater, and then I had two dilemmas. First of all, this is unraveled yarn from 3 years ago, which is discontinued, and I didn't have enough for the whole sweater. So I was debating if I wanted to do like a totally different contrast colored sleeve, or if I was trying to find a matching yarn, because the yarn brand still exists, and I think they're rebranded the yarn and gave the colors different numbers. So I was like, okay, I can either try to find the matching yarn, or I can make different colored sleeves. And first I even got yarn for different colored sleeves, but then I changed my mind because I've knitted for my nephew this Holger sweater. I was like, I could actually match with him. I mean, I already did the blue collar and so it's dark navy and the beige stripes and ribbing, but I still could make like red details at the sleeves, for example, or stitch something red on my Olga sweater. So I thought like, okay, let's go classic, let's go blue and beige stripes basically. So I tried to find the right yarn, and I actually found it. Amazing. But I also ordered like 2 different shades of the blue and 3 different shades of the cream beige color basically before I could find it, so it wasn't that easy. So it's like you can get it through Idee Kreativmarkt, but it's Wolle, Rödel, Cotton Universal. Is it the same? Oh no, this is actually different cotton, Creative Cotton. Yeah, that was the thing that really confused me, because they didn't have the right yarn from the... So it has the same meterage and everything, but these are different yarns. But the colors I had used in this one from frogging another sweater were from the same yarn brand, so it was a little bit confusing there. I don't know if you get what I'm hinting at. Then I also realized that I made the armholes not deep enough, and again, this is a dropped shoulder sweater, so I was like, this looks too tight and awkward. And I was like debating, can I steek it and open it up more, or could I just pick up more stitches further along the armhole? I haven't finally decided. I don't think steeking is the way to go, because this is cotton yarn, and I think I've never heard anyone steeking cotton yarn. I don't think it's a good idea. So I think I will try picking up 2 stripes down or along that line, more stitches. I don't know if it will work out, and hoping therefore like it will be hidden, like when the sleeve is attached you won't see that I picked up along the knitted fabric and not just through the hole. At least I hope so, and we'll see if it works out. If not, I don't know what I'm gonna do, to be honest, because I'm really not in the market to unravel this all and elongate the depth of the armhole. I would rather probably just pick up normally and just try to block it out, because it's cotton, it will stretch over time anyways. Yes, so that's the current situation with that. On the topic of Holger or stripes, I'm continuing continuing my baby knits, but it's like more balanced now. It's not like crazy auntie vibes, knitting, I don't know, 12 baby knits, but I'm doing like one in here. But I'm a little bit over baby knits now. Not over them, but like it's not that intense anymore. But I showed you this cute little Holger sweater, and I still want to make matching pants, or kind of matching, because the matching is a different color. But yeah, so that's what I'm currently knitting on. I've knitted this pattern now 3 times, so I can basically do it without looking at the pattern. So I have the red Sunday yarn at the what is that like? You thread an I-cord band through it, and then you can tie it basically and make it adjustable for the size of the belly. This is a 6 to 9 months old size, and I knitted the grayish blue with just a basic sock yarn, I don't know, Regia Schachenmeier, something like that, and used like some scrappy navy sock yarn to do the ribbing. And I still need to do the second sleeve and the I-cord thread, and then he has a matching set. So that's that. Yeah, we will see what baby cast on I will put on next. I'm thinking maybe for the next month I will knit more accessories for myself and put the baby knits on hold for some time. We talked about the red socks. I also found another sock whip in my boxes recently. These yellow socks. They have like a lot of like varsity sporty vibes. I also knit them with these like easy boomerang heel. I will leave the video link down below. Let me know if you know the English word for, or English term for this kind of heel. Like the English and German knitting terminology is very different, so it's not that you can just translate it or anything. Yeah, it fits, it's nice. I think it has also, what kind of ribbing is this? Also 3x1 rib, but obviously with stripes. It's a DK kind of nylon free sock yarn from, it's that one, is it Finnish brand? I forgot the name. I will put it on the screen, but I think they're fun. They're also kind of autumnal with that like warm sunny yellow, and I need more warm socks, and they're also so fast, like, because usually I knit my socks on 2mm needles, and these are knit on 3.5. So yeah, they should be done soon. I think that's it. I have other whips, several other whips, but either way I made no significant progress on them to show them, or I will talk about them in my fall knitting or autumn winter knitting kind of video. But obviously I acquired shit. I acquired knitting shit in 6 months. Who am I? Like, I acquired obviously yarn, but because I am podcasting so irregularly, I don't think there's a purpose in showing you just yarn that I bought. I will show you the yarn when it comes to the project I will use that yarn for. But I definitely acquired stuff, acquisitions, accessories, of that. So I did a lot of trips to resedagrün, and what got I've got a lot of things. Let me take a look. So I got stitch markers. I don't know if I have any of them on here. Is there one on here? Nope. There's one on here. Nope. So I don't have any of the stitch markers available right now. Maybe on here. Oh yeah, I think they're all in here. So this is like a whip that I haven't talked about, but basically resedagrün has it's an interior, Scandinavian interior and stuff kind of store chain basically, which is pretty available I think all over Europe by now. But they had like little stitch marker sets, either way, like with green stones or purple stones. I don't know if they're real stones or just plastic, but I don't know if it's like, yeah, but like they had different sizes. Do I have more of them? I think they're all in a different project. So, oh no, yeah, they're all in a different project, but I will insert a picture probably from their website. And I think it was a very good bargain. Very affordable, cute. I don't know. I highly can recommend them. So I went back and looked at what else did they have. They also have like these decrease or increase markers. I haven't used them, but they have numbers on it. And you basically can use them as your just stitch marker for the beginning of the round, or attach them to when you made a decrease, so you know how many decrease or which decrease number it was or increase number, and so you don't have to count on your phone or something. Very practical, also very cheap. I also got what is it, like label. So my phone just cut me off because I have no space on my phone, memory card, whatever anymore. But basically I got these like cute little labels that you can sew in, so you know where the back and the front is. Find that very useful. I also got a new needle size measurement thing. I had one from resedagrün, just a square one, and basically broke already a year ago, and this one is more practical because it's smaller, like it's just not even the size of my hand, so it fits into my small notions bag. I also got the summer scent stitch markers. I've talked about Seaside Stitches a few times before. I love her stitch markers, they are so cute. And I asked her if she could also make a lobster one, because she made a whale one, I think, and I was like, oh, other like sea creatures would be so cute, blah blah blah. And she actually gifted me the lobster, and what else, like the whale, and then there's also, no, this is the fish, and I think the whale is in some of my projects. I don't know where it is, but they are like so damn cute. And I don't know if you can see the fish. I will put in the picture. I love her stitch markers, and yeah, I think she recently moved to Hamburg, so it's so funny because she's called Seaside Stitches, and now she moved, I mean, kind of to the seaside. I also found this like purse, portemonnaie kind of thingy. It was on sale because the store was closing. It's like 100% leather, and it just has like a coin part with a zipper and two departments basically for money and cards. But I thought like it's actually perfect for notions to put them in your handbag, and I've never thought about using purses before. I also recently went a lot of times to IKEA because I just moved, and they carry a bread bag basket, no, but not basket, bag, basically just a linen or cotton bag now in two different sizes, and I felt like they are actually perfect project bags. I would have liked the bigger size for like more of my sweater projects because I'm missing more of that at the moment, and they were sold out. But if you are going to IKEA in the next time. Definitely check that out in the kitchen department. I think just cotton beige color with some red details, but very cute and obviously very affordable in comparison to like handmade project bag that you can buy from Etsy or something. I also found this cute bag in a like Scandinavian kids toy store, concept store, just red and brown beige colored stripes with a drawstring. Thought it's great for socks or other smaller projects, even though it looks very big right now, but yeah, it's not that big, so a sweater wouldn't fit in here, but like smaller projects as well. And it reminded me a lot of Christmas, the colors. So I think that's all the non-yarny things I bought in the last few months. I also got a pair of fixed Chagoo needles. I think that's how you say it. Really like them. I think I'm getting more into the metal needle thing. Surprising. I still love my wooden needles. I wouldn't give them away or anything. And I use them still a lot, but I also see for certain projects the advantage that knitting metal needles have if they have a good cord and everything. So really enjoying that. And I think that's it for today. I mean, I talked over an hour just about FOs and whips and 20 minutes probably about my life. So if you're interested in what I am planning on knitting next, and or maybe my autumny cast-ons that I'm currently also knitting on, because these aren't all of my whips, check out the next video. And I hope I will have the time to film more continuously at the moment, because I have a lot of like spare time. I think the biggest issue here is like my finding daylight, because it's dwindling. I think on the camera it looks kind of fine, but in this room it's like dark, and it's, I don't know, 1 p.m. or something. So it's ridiculous. Yes, I hope you had fun catching up with me and my projects, what I did and didn't knit over the last 6 months. And I'm looking forward to showing you all the things I'm planning on casting on. We are also taking things out of hibernation. So I think it's going to be a very realistic take on what I can finish basically until the end of the year, or during this winter, because we have the middle of November. There's not a lot of time left. So, and I am sometimes a little bit delulu when it comes to the knitting time I have, or how much I can knit in a certain time, but I would like to have my needles free of whips with the new year coming around. So that's what I'm currently aiming on at. So yes, I see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment if you have questions, if you need further information, if you're knitting also one of the projects, if you're also totally behind fall and autumn knitting like myself and just recently finished your summer projects. And yeah, I see you next time. Bye bye.